container, and it doesn't look good on Midland. It really doesn't. I'm not saying their communities are any better, but we certainly do need to do more for the peace of mind of our seniors or whoever leaving at off hours. And I do take a bit of an objection to this saying that there's been 2 incidents here in town that have been bad. Yes, there has. I will agree with that. But if you do it per capita, we are a lot worse off than Toronto.
Okay. Thank you. Now, I think this is the value of having different perception, because some people, as you said, haven't experienced the way that you have, and it's so important that we have the full view. So, again, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, again, I would also like to touch on what these ladies said, and I appreciate what was said over here as well with regards to not having had any issues. I am downtown, as these fine people here behind me said. We deal with this literally on a daily basis. As they've mentioned, we oftentimes don't call the police because we understand they have other things that need addressing, but we in turn suffer because of that. Our patients aren't coming to the practice. They literally say they're afraid to come to the practice. Like, that's, respectfully, that is not acceptable. It really isn't. And again, the fact that these people have to move, and there's lots of foul language, and lucky you that you haven't had any instances. You're very fortunate that way, because I myself personally have been affected by this on a number of occasions. This honestly, truly is not a one-off, as people say. I'm a very approachable person. I am kind to them. I'm very friendly with them. The thing that is a concern for me is I have had instances where one day they're very, very nice to you. Other days they respond very, very differently. It makes me feel very unsafe. I honestly clench onto my purse as I walk downtown. And I used to go for pleasant walks around lunch, enjoy this gorgeous city that I've come to love, but I no longer feel safe doing so. And we also leave in a buddy system. We leave work in a buddy system because I feel like I'm unable to walk safely to my car in this town. I'm sorry, but I'm very happy for you that you haven't had instances, but I can assure you this is a very, very real problem. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So you can see there seems to be a locus, and I won't say any more than just in that Elizabeth King Street area that we're having quite a number of acute incidents we're going to have to deal with. So. Thank you. Jesse.
Curious, waypoint. Where is their drop-off points from anybody that is being, they're out of, say if they're done their treatment or anything like that at waypoint? Do they have drop-off points? You would know this, right?
Denis,
I don't know exactly the waypoint drop-off. The only thing I know is...
Oh, sorry.
I don't know exactly what their policy is for the drop-off locations for Waypoint.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the Remand Center system uses the closest bus terminal that goes to other cities, which would leave Barrie.
Okay.
So those clients are offered out of town, but I don't know what Waypoint would be.
Yeah, we can certainly find out. But.
Would there be, so you guys wouldn't be able to tell me if there is a drop-off point right behind the guest house shelter that Waypoint's dropping off or anything like that? So there's no, in the downtown core, anybody with a mental illness that may be going to, there's a place right here too as well, right?
With the Hero Center.
In the right direction? Right behind the unemployment center?
Yeah,
I don't know all
the Hero Center is just behind us here.
Pardon me, sorry?
The Hero Center is just behind us.
Yes, yes. So there's I'm just curious on the, like, Waypoint obviously needs, just like the jail or anything like that, right? They need to, release these people out into the community. And I'm just wondering if we are a part of that release program. And if, say, somebody's homeless that's in Waypoint and they're being released, do they get sent to Beth? Stephen? Like, do you find that happens?
Steve?
We don't have any formal or informal agreements with Waypoint as a drop-off spot. I know with Waypoint and CNCC that discharge planning is not a perfect science. So there are often times when people don't have a place to go and they do find their way to our doorstep.
And they find their way to you, right? Do you find that the increase comes up, like since like Waypoint, like they basically got big renovations, they've upgraded everything. Do you find that it's kind of went up a bit?
I mean, it's hard to gauge that. I can say that we see people who suffer with mental health issues daily. That's as much as I can really say to that in full confidence.
Excellent. Okay, so my thing was maybe we should look into maybe where these people are being released in our area, because nobody can kind of give me that answer, right? If it is in our area, or if they're being dropped off in Barrie or anything like that.
Sorry, you're going to have to come up here. We can't do it from a distance, but just on this, recognize that Waypoint has to discharge by law, and they have restrictions as to where they can go. So this comes back to this coordination and integration issue we talked about. So, Derek, we're going to have to wrap this up.
Yeah,
It's getting 20
just
past.
in regard to that last question, I ride the bus in both the Midland Transit and the Penetang Transit, and Penetang Transit goes past Waypoint. It basically, anyone can get on, anyone can get off, and at the juncture at the Penetang Square Mall, up at Midland 93 in front of Giant Tiger, they transfer, and they can go anywhere. I've ridden the bus so much, I've seen many people just get off at the downtown Tim Hortons at Midland Avenue and Dominion, I think it is. So anyways, there's your answers. I see very many people come from Waypoint, transfer over, and then just go straight down to that downtown Tim Hortons. Yeah. It's not all of them, it's just a portion, but it's what I have witnessed personally.
And to that point, we put in public transit and connected through the Penetang machine that goes from Waypoint, and yes, you can use transit right into downtown Midland. But again, this is the balance we have with our society, is that once they're discharged, they have as many rights as you or I. So we've got to be mindful of that, but understand also we've got to have safety in our downtown. So I think I'm going to wrap it up with that. Sandra, you've had 4 or 5 times, is this? So the question was,
can walkabouts be done by the OPP on a regular basis? Just like to be friendly, low-key? Yeah, preventative, yeah.
Kathy, I'm going to turn this question over to you.
Just like Friday night, it was done by the OPP. Everybody was relaxed, well-behaved.
So just on that note, I do know that we do a lot of proactive foot patrols in the downtown core. We may not be exactly at your location when you need us, or in your area when we need us. But you have to understand too that there's calls for service that are happening on the outside of the downtown core as well that we have to respond to, and a lot of them are a minimum of 2 officer response. So, and when it's a heated situation, there's going to be more than 2 of us going as well, especially if there's large numbers. So you do have to appreciate that. We are, I wish I had the numbers, how many hours since we've come over, since the amalgamation, that we have done, foot patrols, but we have done a lot, and we are out there. You know, just from tonight, I will bring that back to the office, and I'll ask the officers that are on the road, okay, when you are walking downtown, please go by this area. You know, they might have their route that they enjoy doing, and perhaps it's not directly on there, so they'll change that route, so you'll see a little bit more of a presence. And again, I wish I did have that number with us, but it is part of our plan, and it is something that we do proactively. We also have bicycles, and we take them out as well. Mm-hmm. All right?
So expect changes in the near term, but if there's something immediate, it's the OPP and Denis, who are sort of your immediate responses. Use them. And every time I've talked to the police, they said, call us. And it comes back to, it's a safety issue. Not so, well, I know the law, and that's not a crime, so I don't have to call it in. It's a safety issue. And if you feel unsafe, you call. It's that easy. So please take advantage of that. If we don't know, it's very difficult to come out and help. And that's, again, part of what this meeting is, so that we can know and do the interventions that are appropriate. So I think we're going to wrap it up with that. I'm going to look to my panel. Any closing comments from all of the things you've heard here tonight? This is not mandatory, but Denis? Mike? I
just wanted to thank everybody for their insight and perspective on this. It's very helpful for us to be able to focus and reach out and try to acquire more resource and change programming to try to address what the current issues are. Thank you.
I would agree with Denis. It's really nice to see that there's a lot of different people here voicing their concerns, and obviously we have a huge range of what we believe is the problem and what we think the solution is, and that's why the task force has come together. We are going to take everything back to the table. I can assure you that I have made some notes personally to bring back specifically to the OPP. I give you my word on that. And Jesse, I'm still thinking about the drug comment, right? Because I know it's very important. And I see the passion behind you coming up here and speaking, and I appreciate that you do that. So thank you guys for everybody for coming out tonight.
I just want to thank you all for coming out here and sharing your thoughts with us. I know for me personally, it's hard to get the perspective of everyone and maybe not get my back up or something like that about it. But the reason why I do this work is because I want to impact my home, your home, everyone's home. So if there's anything that I can take away to this, or that me personally or the organization that I'm a part of or this committee that I'm a part of, to make your home better, to make my home better, I will do that. And I think the way that my organization takes care of people will ultimately be part of that response, and that and it's actually kind of refreshing to hear that, you know, we should be taking care of our own. I come from a family where we step up for ours, and then we go out from there. So to the misters and the miss that brought that sentiment to us, thank you. You know, I'm actually pretty proud to be here today, and I'm proud to be part of this group with all of you. And you know, I don't know the exact number of Midland's population, 17,000 and some, 18,000-ish.
Yeah.
So at the guest house, we have 18 beds. So what I've been thinking about for the past 2 days is, can our 18,000 take care of our 18? Or can it take care of Grounded's 18? Or can it take care of the library's 18? So thank you, because with the sentiment coming out of this room, I think that we can actually do that. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. Scott,
all right,
go for it.
So there's been some good ideas tonight, and you're not alone on some of these ideas. In one of the last meetings, you know, we were talking about like the history and the culture of what the problem is, and it kind of turned around almost like it did tonight. Like, we should look inwards on ourselves. Like, maybe the problem's not out there. Maybe we're the problem. I don't think that's totally true. I think the problem lies with both sides, right? We have a problem in that we become complacent with some of the things, and maybe we don't call the police all the time, or we think, there's a guy sleeping in the bushes, like another one of those guys. But really, that guy probably needs some help. So if we could go and somehow step up our involvement within the community, we're all going to work towards a better place. Some of the things that came out, you know, you pointed to this mural back here. One of the things we talked about was maybe taking a little more pride in the main street. So can the BIA help engage some people that maybe don't have something to do in the middle of the day, and they can help us weed our flower beds? Like, we're always behind on that. Or maybe we've got to water the pots so they don't die again this year, you know? Like, there's lots of jobs to do downtown, and if people can work with us and we can work with them, then maybe that'll solve a portion of the problem. In the meantime, geez, we got to change it like from the provincial level down, and there's a whole bunch of other things that we've all been talking about that might take a long time, but these kind of conversations are going to help, I suppose, help change things for the short term while we work on the longer term things. Thanks for your input.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, your panel. So in closing, I'd like to thank our host, Reverend Karen, for being so gracious and opening up the doors of St. Paul's for us tonight. Thank you ever so much for that. I'd also like to thank our town staff. We've got Amanpreet Sidhu in the back, who handled the mic, and Miss Angela Grenier over here in the corner, who's busily taking notes. So all of this is certainly going to be recorded and kept to help us come up with, first of all, the identification and those solutions. But most importantly, thank you. As you've heard from our panel, this evening is about you. You may think that your leaders, and I'll speak very broadly of leaders, understand your situation, but unless we talk, unless we hear each other, we will not understand, and therefore we will not come up with a good solution. So you've helped us immeasurably tonight, so thank you for that. I realize for some it is so bittersweet because we've been pushed too far, but for Midland, we've got to resolve this, and we will. So again, thank you so much for being here this evening.